Hey friends, welcome to your timeless transmission for you starseeds. I usually would go for the center cards first, just because it's the central energy. But because this awesome card of milk and honey came up, I want to just explain to you how this is the card that heralds a time of almost a heaven-like quality of good, prosperous times, that everything flows effortlessly and it's full of blessings, that your life is full of blessings. And this is like a card of eternal bliss. It's not so much an eternal bliss as to it's pointing out a phase in your life that is like the climax of an emotional fulfillment. But the reason why I want to stress the eternal part of this bliss phase is because I think that as humans, we've been conditioned to believe that happily ever after or eternal bliss is somehow boring or undesirable or impossible. But as advanced beings, we could choose to deprogram that belief. Do you want eternal bliss? Do you think that eternal bliss is boring because there's no contrasting shadows, even though you have these experiences, past experiences to draw upon? Personally, after this journey of being human for quite some time and being polaric in consciousness, I have decided that eternal bliss is something that I want. So when there's a card, I mean, it's different. It's one thing to cling on to an emotional state from an egoic place, but I think it's another to acknowledge your own sovereignty over your reality and mindfully design your intentions to create this eternal bliss. But in any case, this pocket of energy in this reading is letting you know that you're entering this phase where your inner work. So No Place Like Home is a card of, it's kind of like the Four of Wands to me, this one. It's inner sanctuary and feeling like you're at home no matter where you go because of your internal state of mind. And this To Be Fair card being right on top of it signals that this inner reality is going to manifest outwards as much as you worked on it. Justice. And the reason why I say it's going to start coming out is we have the All That Glitters card, which talks about the world of form. So this inner progress or frequency that you're feeling is coming out in the world of form, in all that glitters. But be careful not to dismiss the world of form as meaningless. That was a lesson in itself, to understand that the form, the realm of the form, is not everything. But doesn't mean that it's not anything. So in this context, it shows that this work that you've done is going to sprout out in a balanced way to give you this time of bliss, as bliss and abundance and love. This is probably the most desirable card in the deck, Milk and Honey, and that is going to show in the world of form. But you have this newfound appreciation of the form now as something that you don't really cling or grasp onto, but something that is just marvelous. And it won't even matter. This isn't really like about a cause and effect, as it is just an observing of your state of mind, your internal state and harmony. It's just going to be reflected. So on the center, to be fair, is children. And the No Place Like Home card has harmony. I mean, this is a double message of the same thing pretty much. You've gained inner harmony. So now whatever happens in your external environment is not going to affect the way you feel on the inside, which is full of harmony of your mind, body, and soul, and your alignment with your higher self. That's so good. And this has been your priority, whether you realize it or not. I feel that a large part of you has been prioritizing this inner sanctuary for the past however long you've been working on yourself. So as a result, this world and the reality that you create for yourself and yourselves on a larger level is for the children, actually. And you can view children as your own children, but this also talks about the new wave of children that are coming into the picture, who are literally going to be all hybrid. At a certain point, the new children that are coming to Earth, which already is happening, are, their genetic makeup is different than traditional humans. And there's going to be a lot more people who are going to resonate with people like us, like starseeds. Right now, we may be viewed as like the rare ones out of, like the black sheeps out of the population, but they're going to be the majority of the population in the next wave. So this is service to the new children, as well as the children of the earth, who I view as anyone whose consciousness is blossoming from low densities to the higher densities. No matter what their age, they're still children, you know? So this is the inner sanctuary that you're manifesting onto this reality for the children, and you're paving the way for them. So thank you for your service. And this Milk and Honey card paired with this Retreat card speaks to me about this bliss, state of mind, state of bliss and eternal bliss is going to result in an experience of reality that's like always like a retreat. So you not having to go on a physical retreat to go on a retreat. This way of being is a retreat in itself. And I mean, imagine for the rest of your life, it's like a retreat, and every single moment is like such a wonderful vacation. That's the reality that I desire, and I'm sure you desire. So that's the one we're creating. And Archangel Michael coming up on top of all that glitters is talking about how, yes, you are starting to have a new relationship with the world of form and having appreciation for its ability to reflect your internal state. But any other social conditioning or attachments that you may be placing on any material form, such as ones based in belief structures that are not necessarily your own, or being clinging and addicted to chasing the tail of the world of form. It's kind of like the dog chasing its own tail. Whereas it's the one same creature, but it thinks that it can chase the end of it. That's kind of what happens when we chase the world of form. So invoke Archangel Michael to sever that tie of that attachment you have to the world of form and just appreciate the role that it plays in our experience of reality. Okay. The last layer that I'm going to add is the mermaid deck. On the bottom of your mermaid deck is synchronicity, and what else would you like to see other than synchronicity? Synchronicity is the universe aligning you to the higher powers. Okay, so with this make a decision card, I want to bring up this myth that when human beings like wake up in the morning, these scientists decided to prove that they have a certain amount of willpower throughout the day, so it's better to do more difficult routines during the morning. And they talk about how Obama doesn't pick his clothes and he wears the same thing or whatever because it takes away from the willpower. There is this myth, and of course you can prove anything if you set out to prove something, right? Scientific data follows intention. You can literally prove anything you want. I say that because I have like my post-grad master's degree and things, and my academic career, my academic degree has revolved around picking a thesis and then looking for the evidence, rather than looking for the evidence and then picking a thesis. So my point is that the only decision willpower that you need is to listen to your higher self and your intuition. When you decide that that's going to be your decision for every choice you have, then you don't need the limited amount of willpower that the mind has. So when you're picking what to wear, go with your intuition rather than linearly decide, should I wear red or blue? Because that's when you run out of willpower at the end of the day. When you constantly make a decision to listen to your intuition for every choice, then you'll never run out of willpower. Dream big with To Be Fair and Children signals to me that if there's a few number of you, well, I don't have a big audience, so this probably resonates with you. there's a few of you who have been holding intentions for certain dreams that may not have manifested just yet. And it could be making you have this Nine of Wands energy. Like you're tired, stressed out, not sure if things are ever going to come about. But that's because everybody's born with a range of, like, the consciousness level that you're on calibrates the type of dreams or goals you can have. And maybe for your entire life, because you've been surrounded by people whose consciousness calibrates at a lower level, which I'm not talking bad about them, that's just their journey. You've been setting goals that match their calibration of consciousness, but really you've held a different level of consciousness that is so much capable of dreaming bigger dreams. For example, while other people's dreams are geared towards starting a business and prospering the business, you could have been wondering, how come I hold those intentions and it doesn't come about? That's because your consciousness level calibrates at a place where you can hold dreams like manifesting an intergalactic civilization rather than prospering a business. Do you understand what I mean? And while these are your biggest dreams that you can even imagine, for the lower calibration of consciousness, they can't even grasp that level. That's why they're able to work with their goals. But now that you know where you stand, and as you hold these bigger dreams and make leaps towards those dreams, everything else will just fall in line with that bigger goal. Everything else will just make itself manifest on the way to your bigger goals. But it is kind of your role to have these higher visions because your consciousness calibrates at a different level. But don't worry about you being cut short for your other smaller desires, because those will magnetize itself as you make leaps towards the bigger dreams. A new dawn. So as you detach yourself with the help of Archangel Michael or whatever other force you want to invoke to the material realm, you're going to be experiencing a complete new paradigm in your material world. And yeah, I know you probably knew this, saw this coming, but I'm just reinforcing it. Maybe it hasn't happened yet, maybe it's starting. And one point that I want to suggest is, if you think like the biggest blessings come to you in leaps and bounds, it actually starts out in the slightest tweaks in your neural pathways and your emotional tendencies. So once you pay attention to what kind of neural pathways are being tweaked in your internal self and your emotional states, that's the stuff that's going to trigger these massive changes in attitude and action, and then eventually your reality. So I'm pretty sure you're tweaking, like you're sensing the internal changes already, and you probably understand how much you've changed as a person, being able to feel at home in any situation. So it says pay attention to those slight tweaks in harmony that's being developed inside, because that's the stuff that is the biggest blessings that will trigger changes beyond your imagination. So yeah, let me just put these away, and then I have a couple more decks. Your Rumi card is Sacred Phoenix Heart, which talks about divine timing and the results hitting you when you least expect it, because you're in so much darkness and you have no idea what's happening. And the next thing you know, you're going to be in a completely different environment. So divine timing and unexpected results is the main message. From the abundance card is obstacles and blocks are lifted. All your good personal work and your positive energy shift have overcome previous obstacles, and blocks are lifted away. You will now experience progress and forward movement with your projects. Stay centered in gratitude to ensure that your flow of abundance continues. So as you see these cards and understand that your internal shifts are, I feel like you're at a point where you understand the magnificence of your internal groundedness, like your internal state. And so I don't even think that when I say these things about manifestation, you even associate your biggest gratitude with those manifestations. But I think you are starting to understand that that internal state was the real gift. Wow. And then black is find richness from the dark night. So this is where you're coming from as a Sacred Phoenix heart in the Rumi's deck of Journey. This is a place where I don't want to associate to yesterday's reading because these readings are meant to be timeless. But for those who watched yesterday's reading and is watching this one, yesterday's Rumi card was about having faith in the darkest of night. But interestingly, today's card is about finding ground and seeing results when you least expect it during the darkness of night. And the color card is the find richness in the dark night. So I think as you come out of this darkness, you're going to start to really, really appreciate the darkness that you've endured. How? I'm not sure how you're going to feel that because it's your life. And I know how I'm going to feel it, but I don't know how it's going to come about for you. But if you do resonate with this, please share with me or like email me if you don't want to blast it on the YouTube. I just want to, like, for those who are watching this video, I just want to, like, first of all, thank you, because I understand that these messages will resonate to a very, very few amount of people at this time. First of all, because we are a very niche population who are going through these, like, types of changes that I'm sensing through the cards. And the intention that I put out is because I do these readings for myself like pretty much every morning. And I know there's other people who are going through the same same wave of energies as I do, but I just don't know how to reach them. But I was really, really guided to make these videos. Like, it was making me uncomfortable unless I did this. Like, I don't want to be visible. Like, if you knew me in personal life, like, most people have no idea that I have this, like, spiritual side to me even. Because, like, growing up, it was just not welcomed. Like, especially in the environment that I grew up in. So it's not something that I like to put out in public. Like, I've done readings for people I know, but it's not something that I'm gonna go out and blast, because these messages that I tell people, it's, like, so esoteric and it just doesn't resonate. So I know that whoever, like, the people who tune into my readings, like, once in a while, probably feel very separated from the mass. But what I want to say is, I really appreciate that somehow you found this and that we can connect in virtual reality that is the web. I feel like I have, like, a sense of family. And, like, my God, I would love to just connect with you and discuss what's happening. Because if you resonate with my readings, my God, you're going through a lot. Like, you probably go to distant galaxies in your dreams and wake up in the morning, and it's kind of like Total Recall, that movie. But anyways, I enjoy connecting with you, and I hope, like, these readings are helpful for you. And I'll see you next time, which is probably soon.